Chase dreams, chase greatness, chase legacy, never chase reality. Join U.S. Soccer Insiders today.
The faculty at American Military University, they were
Stream
wonderful.
Elements
Every
says
professor
Stream
that I
Outside
talked
at
to, like,
K-Ball Live.
Hello and welcome
K
in,
is
folks.
now
This is
live.
the
Assassin's Creed
465th episode of the
Odyssey. First time
With Their
playing
Show for everybody
Assassin's
joining
Creed
us on this
Odyssey.
beautiful afternoon live.
Odyssey.
I appreciate you for being here. Make sure to say what's good down below in that chat. For everybody that's already tuned in on TikTok, I appreciate you guys so much for joining as well.
Thing I feel like abortion is just sad in general, and I think that both sides I feel like are valid in that sort of way. I just feel like that personally, I just think it's very sad and very disgusting. So, but if anybody wants to get it, I'm not gonna say, hey, like, you're a fucking weirdo because you want to get an abortion, like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
So you think that abortion should be legal, you just personally disagree with the decision?
I don't know. See, but that's the thing is that's why I always go back and forth on it, because I'm like...
Well, if you're back and forth on it, then answer my question seriously. Because you told me that the state shouldn't be able to force me into providing you my kidney against my will if you needed my kidney to live. But you think that maybe the state should be able to force a rape victim to provide their bodily resources, i.e. domicile in their uterus and progesterone through the umbilical cord and everything else that comes from the placenta, to the fetus for 9 months against their will. But I don't see any difference between these two scenarios. In the first scenario, it's the government forcing me to provide you with my bodily resources. You say that's wrong. In the second scenario, it's the government forcing a rape victim to provide the fetus with their bodily resources, and you say that's right. What's the difference between these two scenarios that justifies the government compelling a person to provide their bodily resources to another in one but not the other case?
Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. Like... See, but this is why, like, I wanted to genuinely have a conversation with you, because I feel like you honestly, to be so honest with you, like, a lot of people that are a leftist, they straight up, like, I talked to this lady the other day, and she was like screaming at me and telling me this is what I should believe and all this stuff, while you're coming at me with the facts. And that's how I feel like our country should be, is that you should come at me with facts. You should come at me with, hey, look at this from a different perspective. Does that make sense? That's why
I understand why it feels bad to get ridiculed and demeaned because of what you believe in, especially when you don't intend to hold bad beliefs. But I think it's important for you to consider the fact that the impact of your beliefs here, that maybe rape victims should be denied access to abortion, is very damaging. That does hurt a lot of people. That negatively infringes on the lives and futures of so many people. I mean, shit, it's led to the mortality rate for pregnant women in the state of Texas doubling. So, of course, there's going to be emotion involved. I just try to come at you with the facts. So, I mean, back to those facts, what do you think the difference is between the two scenarios I gave you?
not really. Like,
So there's not any difference between the two scenarios, and you still believe with firm conviction that I should never be forced to provide my bodily resources to you without my consent. Then you should mirror that same response onto the scenario of a rape victim accessing abortion.
So do you believe that maybe there could be a way where rape victims could get that proper care, but like women who, let's say, just had like an oopsie with a pregnancy then shouldn't? Like, what do you feel like with that?
Well, I mean, I think that is the view that you should take a step towards, okay? That's the reason why I always start off with having a conversation about the exceptions, like abortions for rape victims, because you could totally be pro-life and hold an exception there. So that's always why I start the conversation with that line of questioning, with that line of conversation. And if you can accept that maybe you do hold that exception, then I'd love to go on to debating the other 99% of elective abortions with you.
Okay, then yeah, so then I'll say, like, yes, I feel like that's an exception, that if you have gotten sexually assaulted, then
yeah, cool. I'm really
you
happy
should
to
not
hear
be
that.
able.
Really happy to hear that. You know what? I'm actually going to attack this from a different angle. So you're arguing here that you maybe support Trump as president because you think he's going to save the most innocent human life possible. That if Kamala Harris was elected, many more innocent humans would have died because she was pro-abortion, right?
I just feel like so let's just say there's two people who are in love, okay? And they have sex and they end up getting pregnant. And then because of their actions, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to be a parent, so I'm just going to go and get rid of my baby. I feel like that's just really like awful in my opinion.
Yeah, really
Because like
irresponsible. They
yeah,
consented to sex knowing what the outcome could be. Well, the women also know
yeah,
that they could get an abortion if that outcome were to occur. Also, although women and men can control sex, they can't control conception. Okay? In the
yeah.
same way that I can control driving, I can choose to hop in my car and drive to Dairy Queen to get an ice cream cone. I really can't control or mitigate the chance of a drunk driver T-boning me on my way to get that ice cream cone. The only way to completely mitigate the chance of getting T-boned by a drunk driver on the road is to not drive to begin with. The same way the only way to mitigate conception is to not have sex to begin with. But would we say that you are responsible for getting T-boned by a drunk driver if you choose to drive knowing that's a possible outcome? No. And I just don't understand the difference between that and conception. But, I mean, that point aside, I think my larger point here is there are many actions that we know run negative outcomes, or at least the risk of a negative outcome, like smoking cigarettes and lung cancer, alcoholism and liver failure. But when cigarette smokers get lung cancer, we don't say, oh, because you're irresponsible, we're going to legally restrict your access to chemotherapy. Same thing to alcoholics and getting on the bottom of the organ transplant list. No, we say, although you were irresponsible, you should still have legal access to the remedy to help you figure this shit out. And so even if you think that sex with no intention of reproduction is irresponsible, I don't understand why you then jump to the conclusion that therefore we should brutally condemn these women and girls by revoking their access to healthcare and not allow them to have access to a service that can make their life better and in turn make the lives of future generations better off. Because in areas where we have pro-life legislation, we are reforming and shifting the family dynamic away from financially well-off adults that consent to having kids and want to start a family to forcing young men and women, 18, 19, and 20-year-old men and women into having children and then becoming parents. And at the end of the day, I would just say that there's nothing wrong with killing a fetus. I don't value you because you're a member of the same species as me. I value you because of your ability to experience and subjectively interact with the world around you. And that's an ability that the fetus doesn't have.
Come on, what's going on?
Okay, so let's just say that that fetus did grow up and become like me and you, or we both respect each other. Do you feel like they're worth then? Because I just feel like it's just still a baby. It's still something that's going to grow up. And what if like that child that she killed off was going to cure cancer or do something like amazing? Like you don't know that. And like if you do something like that to, I guess, inhumanely like kill off a child that was your fault. Like it's just like if you have, like what you said with a car, okay? Like you said,
so abortion wrong because it removes and destroys the chance of a future person like you or I existing.
I feel like, and everybody I feel like is a blessing and can do things right in this world, and they can't do things right in this world if you just kill them off.
Okay.
I feel like
so abortion is wrong, and abortion should be banned because it eliminates the potentiality of a future individual like you or I existing. Do you think that it should be illegal for men to pull out?
Do I think it should be illegal for men to pull out?
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what to say to that, honestly.
No. Hopefully no. No, you don't think it should be illegal for men to pull out?
No, then yeah, no.
If your dad pulled out, would you be here today?
No.
So that would have eliminated